and welcome back our dear viewers. As we promised at the beginning of the show that we are going to take you back in history to the ancient Egyptian era, to the pharaonic era, and how they used to make the markets. How did the market start during the ancient Egyptian times, and what they used to sell and buy, and to what extent the markets are similar to our markets today. That would be our topic for discussion for today with our dear guest in the studio, Dr. Mamdouh Farouk. He is a researcher in Egyptology. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
As my dear colleague Mahi said, it's in ancient Egypt.
Yes.
Before going into the market issue, have we had money by then?
Firstly, it's not to me to be with you today. The market, when you need something, you will make a shopping on the market, okay? Because according to the variety of your necessity, that the ancient Egyptians needs the more necessity in their life. The beginning, the world prehistory, when ancient Egyptians were housing the caves, and when the rainwaters is falling or reduced, they went down to the river banks, River Nile, and they established new communities on the river bank two sides.
Okay.
So they were depending in collecting seeds and hunting fish, This is the first phase. And the second phase, when they invented or discovered agriculture at the period or era, it's called Neolithic. Neolithic is era that they discovered agriculture in Bani Salama and Dertasa at Asyut.
Yeah.
So the basic necessity was different, and the variety in their life. So they depended on a system bartering or exchange bartering, not on money, because the money coin or the coin age that was discovered at the 500 years ago before Christianity.
So, Dr. Mamdouh, when the coin did start, there were already markets and they used to exchange the products, or it was the first thing, the coin, then they used to do markets?
Yes, the market was existed at the early dynasty, the first dynasty. Yes, we have some scenes here. That is a very important scene from the tomb at the Thebes, in the Western Bank in Luxor or Thebes. They show to us how there was a deal. We have the four quarters of the scenes, okay? We can see at the left side, the woman is carrying the two vessels or two white vessels.
Yeah.
I would like to say that is exchange or the parting system depending on exchanging between the two commodities or products. Okay, I can exchange the oil and the bread to fish. This is a very important scene that was exchanged between necklaces, okay, the made of gold or silver, and for the grain or all bread. Yes, the gold and silver is necessity for some people, so they need food like bread, like beer, like fish. Okay, they were establishing and they were spreading on the equatorial side and the harbor of the River Nile. We can see here the exchange process, or it's called the bartering system, that was done at the early dynastic times.
Yeah. This is a market for goods.
Yes.
For commodities.
Yes.
But what about services? For example, doctors, for example, technicians, stuff like that.
Yeah.
How I'm gonna pay the doctor? I pay a doctor. I mean, am I going to give him a piece of silver, a piece of gold, a precious stone? What?
You talk about the civilian service.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, at the ancient Egyptians time.
Don't tell me that it was for free.
Not for free.
Okay.
There are a doctor, and we have more titles were inscribed on some tombs, okay? We have seen Hesira is a dentist. Okay, the wooden panels at the Egyptian Museum. We have some the medical instrument that inscribed on the Komombo temple.
Yes.
Okay, but you ask about what the ask for, what the money or what can the giving to him. It's going to him the same, the goods. Goods. Oil, bread, grain, fish, vegetables, and everything is necessity for them. This is called the bartering system or exchanging system.
Yeah.
What did they used to sell in the markets, Dr. Mamdouh?
Okay, I told you before there is some commodities like a coin. They depended on oil and grain. It's the main commodity that there was exchanging for some metal like gold and silver. Oil, grain. The grain, you know that the grain is turned into bread. Okay, I can see preparing the pears or ga or pears. Okay, I can say.
Have they used liters, for example, ounce, kilos?
Yes, yes. You ask about the units or the weights units,
if they have
the measures.
Yes.
I will tell you something. We have a story. It's called the peasant flight. The peasant flights. This was a man. It's called Juan Inibo. He's from the Natron Valley. He wanted to sell something about his harvest, his harvest. He wanted to sell some vegetables and food from the Natron Valley to Ihnesia. Ihnesia is located now at Beni Suef. And Ahnesia. He loaded his donkeys with goods. And they went down to the Ihnesia to sell these commodities or these goods. So it's very important that it's change our trading routes between the Natron Valley to the Ihnesia open in the Middle Egypt. You ask about what? Your other questions?
About the products that they used to sell in the market.
I said it's bread and oil?
Yes, I told fish, grain. Okay, and some gold and silver. You mean that the silver and gold, they were not the coin currency, but it is used as
Let me put the question in other words, sir. Did the pharaohs know about how silver, gold are precious, or they dealt with them as something which is not that much valuable when it comes to bread, to wheat, to any other food, a kind of food or stuff like that?
Yes, it was precious metals, but it's not for as coins. The when Egyptians bought their silver and gold tombs, okay, and as a later of the end of the 20 dynasties, some reapers stole some of the gold and silver from the tombs. So this was displayed in the market. At the first seems that we can display the silver and gold at the market. Is not this was existed to display this gold and silver. It depends on its value, not as a coin.
Dr. Mamdouh, what about the markets? How did they look like? There were shops where they sell the goods, or they were displaying their products in the plain air. How did the markets look like?
Before talking the shape or the figure of the market in ancient Egypt, I have to mention the role of ancient Egyptian woman. That was she was a consort of her husband, and she helped him in everything. The women, they were collecting everything about commodities and make like some baskets, okay, and some goods in some basket, and they establish or they choose a spot, a very preferred spot to them at a quayside at the riverbank. They were waiting for ships and boats, because the ships and boats, they were the fastest or cheapest means of transport in ancient Egypt. So they were waiting for sailors to come. What did the sailors do with the buyers or sellers? The sailors was carrying, and some scenes here, the sailors, they were carrying some sacks of grain. And to take some goods from the women, like fish, like bread, like beers.
And sir, as far as I remember, in Hatshepsut era, for example, we have imported spices from Bont.
Spices, ivory, spices.
And in exchange we have given them
Yes, a very important questions. I have to agree with you with these questions, because there is a kind of trade. It's called gifting trade. Gifting. The foreign countries.
But to give them precious stones.
Yes.
And to take instead of precious stones, spices, sir.
Spices is very important. incense.
Okay.
It's the smell of the gods. The very important ceremony in the temples. Hatshepsut sent the Banahsi. There was an Egyptian leader, and the durations of this journey there was 3 years.
Yeah.
Yes, and she sent this expedition to the land of ponds. It's called now Somal or Somalia, and the Banahsi brought incense, ivory, and acacia tree, acacia sant tree from the land of Pont, and the Egyptians' goods was turquoise, cottons, we can say sycamore trees, and incense. This exchanging between the two goods or trades as a gifting between the two. It's called, I can say it's delegation. To introduce some gifts to the royal or prince of this country. It is not a new kind of community entered Egypt. We can see at this journey some scenes show us the natural life at the land of Pont.
This was a diplomatic mission more than a
yes, a diplomatic mission. This more than it was a trading mission.
So what about the weekly markets and the most important markets that used to take place during the Pharaonic era?
Yes, we can say that the week is concluding 10 days, not 7 days. Okay, they choose the 1 or the 2 days and the week.
So they were not markets on daily basis. They were twice or 3 times per week.
Yes, there is some markets. It's temporary markets. It was almost daily markets. Or we have at the end of the week, like
they used to be bigger.
This was our market.
So these weekly markets were bigger.
Yes, and they're waiting for some harvest, like goods, because
this was my common question. Was it more about the seasons of harvesting more than because the Egyptians had their own calendar, and if it is about their own calendar, then they should focus on the harvest days or the harvest season, and then the trade is going to flourish.
Yes, it's a very bold questions. That the grain and the oil was very easier to store some grains and oil. It's easier to store it, and it was storing in granaries all the year, and you used it in inundation times. So the market was all the times. There was some goods in the granaries to as a storing goods. So they used it in some spaces time.
Sir, we have witnessed many invasions during the ancient Egyptian times. To what extent the invasion of the Hyksos and others did have its own impact on the markets and the products which were on display in these markets?
Egyptian civilization or history influenced by some invaders, because we took some the kinds of some goods, metals, and see Hyksos, the chariots, and some weapons that were inside Egypt during this occupation. Okay, we can see Persian time. You know that Egypt was occupied by invaders between one dynasty until the third dynasty. There were not Egyptian kings that ruled Egypt at this time. So we can say Ethiopia or the Kush periods, invented some kinds of goods or capital and enter inside. And the Egyptians, we can see Syria. We have some Syrian man, China, with a long period buying something for the Egyptian woman at the market. That's between the cedar, like the cedar wood, and some kinds of the spices. You told me about spices that were brought from the land of Ponts or the Lebanon or Syria.
Sir, also you have mentioned during your talk the Egyptian woman.
Yes.
And how she was that much skillful when it comes to dealing with trade and with dealing with food. As far as I know that Egyptians processed food. and they knew well how to keep food that much great and healthy for such a long time. If it is with sugar, then it's a jam. If it is salty, then it's salted fish. If it is drying food, to use it in another season, you know, stuff like that.
She was skillful at storing some goods and inventing some foods. Okay, the ancient Egyptian women they were very helpful to the man in his work, and she was weaving some textiles or clothes to buy it like goods. That was the housework or the homework that was done in her home to buy it in the market, to help her husband to bring some kind of commodity. But I will tell you something is very important: the honesty of trading. You didn't ask about the honesty of the traders. We have a sentence say. There was a policeman is called Mamdouh Farouk, brought something from a man is called Mina, and the policeman didn't pay back his a pot of fat, or like a pot of perfume, and he didn't pay back its money or its exchange to the man for 11 months. Okay, 11 months. But he wrote it in some terms that I will be punished. The 100 blows with a stick if I didn't pay back the pay of food.
Indeed. Dr. Mamdouh Farouk, the researcher and lecturer in Egyptology, thank you very much for being with us for today and for your precious input. Nermeen?
Yes, Mahi, by this we come to the end. Unfortunately, we are running out of time as usual, that quick. And tomorrow is another day with another staff of the breakfast show. Till then, thanks for watching. This was Nermeen Abdurrahman, and I had all the pleasure to have with me my dear colleague, Mahi Stirabia. Thanks, dear.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye for now.